Beginning in 5300 BC, linear pottery culture developed in the region of Herxheim in southwest Germany, one that could be described as an idyllic Stone Age settlement. The houses were the same, the rudimentary farm plots were the same, the small village seemed to be relatively safe from invaders and predators. Yet sometime around 4950 BC, the community abruptly disappeared. The town was abandoned, leaving behind shattered pottery, hundreds of butchered bodies, and a huge pile of bones. Today, researchers are not certain what happened, but signs suggest that a rise in ritual sacrifice, and possibly cannibalism, had something to do with it. Map of the Herxheim site. In 2009, an archaeological dig of a Stone Age village unearthed a mass grave with hundreds of human remains, belonging to at least 500 people and possibly over 1,000. The bones were of men, women, and children as well as infants and fetuses. Tool marks on the bones show that the flesh had been carefully scraped off, while larger bones were broken, possibly to get at the marrow. Even the skulls were broken as if to better extract the brains. The butchering all occurred shortly after the victim's death and was clearly done by someone who knew what they were doing. Although the butchering was done with the same practice techniques of slaughtering cattle or sheep, it is not certain what became of the human flesh. Some believe the villagers of Herxheim ate the meat, others say that it would have been buried along with the bones as part of the ritual. Archaeologists discovering the burial. "We expect the number of dead to be twice as high," said Andrea Zieblans, project leader of the Cultural Heritage Agency working at Herxheim. "Such a large number is highly peculiar for a small village with only 10 buildings." Dating through carbon-14 analysis confirms that the bones found at the Herxheim site are the last known inhabitants of that settlement. However, analysis of the artifacts found in the pit has revealed that the victims were non-natives of the village. Indeed, they came from all over Europe, including the Moselle River region, some 62 miles, 100 kilometers, away, and the Elbe River region, some 250 miles, 400 kilometers, away. Experts have deduced this anomaly by the fragments of pottery, often very fine pottery, lying between each victim's ribs. The pottery was exceptionally well crafted yet intentionally smashed to pieces. The shards, as well as new stone blades and millstones, were mixed with the broken bones and dumped into the pit. The dead were not killed in battle, they were not sickly, and they were not malnourished. Many were not even old. One could also imagine that people volunteered to come here and be ritually sacrificed, said Zieblans. Herxheim burial. No one is certain how such a small village could have become so popular over such a short time, perhaps 50 years. That over 1,000 people made the pilgrimage over great distances to Herxheim represents a significant logistical and communicational feat. But by 4950 BC, whatever was drawing people to Herxheim abruptly ended. 50 years is the maximum, said Zieblans. It could all have happened in just 2 years or even 5 weeks. Research leader Zieblans believes that the answer to the Herxheim mystery lies in the victims' skulls. The breaking of the skulls was completed by a practiced hand. After peeling off the skin, each skull was carefully broken so that the lower third was removed, leaving behind a sort of cap or drinking vessel. Given the fragile nature of human skulls and the basic stone tools the butcher had at his or her disposal, only an expert could have done this. The skull caps/cups were then carved with intricate symbols. Historians cannot decipher the meaning of these markings, however, it is clear that the people were not killed for hunger. It was part some kind of ritual, most likely of religious significance. All of the skulls were found piled together in one place. Skull found in the archaeological site of Herxheim. But probably nobody drank from them. The edges are still so sharp today that one would cut one's lips on them, said Zieblans. The more research conducted, the more mysterious this place becomes. Many sensational articles published on Herxheim proclaim cannibalism, however, the excavation's leader Zieblans cautions against such astonishing conclusions. We mustn't forget that this was no giant settlement. Who is supposed to have eaten all this? Archaeologists discover evidence of prehistoric massacre, broken bones, smashed skulls. Archaeologists from the University of Mainz in Germany have discovered a mass grave at Schöneck-Kilienstätten, near Frankfurt. The discovery may be evidence of an ancient massacre and dates to around 7,000 years ago. This follows the discovery of 2 other grave sites in Germany and Austria in which the victims may have belonged to the Linear Bankeramic, Linear Pottery Culture or LBK, culture of 5500 BC. This was a farming community that migrated into Central Europe, distinguished by their particular style of pottery. Examples of linear pottery: the vessels are oblated globes, cut off on the top and slightly flattened on the bottom, suggestive of a gourd. Ancient tragedy. The mass grave contained 26 skeletons. The victims were men, women and children and may have belonged to one of the first farming communities in Europe. All of the skeletons showed evidence of terrible wounds, including blows to the head with blunt instruments such as clubs and arrow wounds. Blows to the shins may have been an attempt to prevent the victims escaping. Some people may have survived since the violence was primarily directed towards young children and adult men and women. This indicates that any young women present may have been captured and carried off by the attackers. It was either torture or mutilation, said Christian Meyer, speaking to the Associated Press, AP. Meyer is an anthropologist and one of the lead authors of the study journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. We can't say for sure whether the victims were still alive. It's about finding patterns. One mass grave was spectacular, but it was just a single grave. But when several such sites are found from the same period, then a pattern emerges. An ancient mass grave in Germany has revealed broken bones, such as this fractured adult human tibia. The archaeologists suggest that the evidence, in conjunction with previous discoveries, points to a regular series of massacres occurring towards the end of the LBK period. A number of sites such as those at Dulheim, Schlitzasparen, Herxheim and Vaihingen show evidence of the massacre of entire villages, while mutilated remains at Elsleben and Oberhagern may point to cannibalism. Escalating tensions. Although it isn't possible to say for sure what prompted these killings, it is known that this period was one of significant climate change in which drought may have played a part in escalating tensions. Other suggestions include a refugee crisis caused by flooding in the Black Sea, or various economic reasons. The LBK had also expanded considerably, increasing the risk of conflict with other, neighboring, communities. As farmers, they would also have settled in an area rather than moving through it as hunter-gatherers do. The evidence also indicates that the various groups within the culture may have turned on each other. These theories can be supported by the existence of an ancient border near the Schöneck-Kilian-Stagen site. There is evidence for the trading of flint implements on either side of this border, but not, apparently, across it. An artist's depiction of ancient Neolithic farmers. The LBK culture is believed to have originated in what is now Hungary. They expanded along the shores of the Danube and lived in that area between 5500 and 4500 BC. Their pottery is also known as linear bandware, linear ware, or incised ware culture, and was generally made of local clay mixed with organic materials, decorated with curved or rectilinear lines and bands. They were farmers who cultivated lentils, wheat and peas, and kept cattle and domesticated dogs. They may also have hunted forest animals such as deer. It is believed they may have venerated a mother goddess who represented the harvest, and they lived in long houses made of wood and wattle and daub, mud and straw, grouped in clusters of 6 to 8 dwellings. Some of these settlements had palisade fencing around them, so it is known they experienced conflict at various times. What is particularly interesting is the level of violence, said archaeologist Chris Scarr from the University of Durham in the UK, commenting on the study, published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Not just the suppression of a rival community, but the egregious and systematic breaking of the lower legs. Mr. Scarr added that this suggests the use of terror tactics, as part of a wider occurrence of inter-community violence. This may have in turn been ritualized, or been largely based on social or class differences.